Hello, spooky crew. Our tote bag drawing is officially closed, and we just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who entered. We are so grateful for the love and the support, and we have loved reading your reviews. Missed the tote? No worries. We're still sending out high-quality vinyl stickers while supplies last. Just email us proof of your rating and review along with your mailing address to thespookydarlings@gmail.com, and we'll get one headed your way. Quick promise, your address is only for mailing the sticker. No emails, no selling info, no funny business, just spooky gratitude. Thanks again for supporting the show. You are the reason we do this.
You're listening to the Spooky Darlings. I'm Emily.
I'm Haley.
I'm Nettie.
And today, Haley is taking the lead on an episode about one of our very favorite haunted locations that is actually located in our sweet little hometown of La Grande, Oregon. Haley, do you want to tell us about it?
I do. So, the Lodge at Hot Lake Springs is a lovely hotel in Union County, Oregon, sitting against a hill just off the Union Highway. And with its revival comes a lot of memories of when it was run down, dilapidated, like the floorboards had holes going from the top floor all the way to the basement.
Yeah.
And sneaking in there when I was like in high school in my youth with my cousins, and like old wheelchairs just like strewn in the hallways, old files just like all around. You could just like start going through papers and see old names and everything.
I think like the Hot Lake of our childhood was your definition of an abandoned, rundown building. And it is not that way now.
But I will say it was also like one of those that was abandoned and run down on the inside, but there was something majestic about it too, because it was such a big, you could feel that it was something really special in its prime. You know what I mean? Like it was just like it was one of the bigger buildings around town and just kind of beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes driving by it when I was growing up would just kind of imagine like, wonder what it was like in its prime. And like you could find photos of it, which are so much easier to find now with technology, updated technology and everything. But
I was always like, when I'm in my 20s and I'm like a millionaire, I'm so going to buy that and just completely renovate it. Still waiting to become a millionaire.
still, hey,
Now in my
too.
40s,
And
just
still,
waiting.
I was going to say, and still in your 20s, right?
And still in my 20s. Oh, darn it, I gave it away.
So we even found like on the top floor, we found a pentagram with a dead cat in the middle of it. And then my cousins,
When you were hunting? Oh.
well, we weren't hunting, we were haunting.
Ghost hunting.
Yes. And then our cousins even told me about once when they were leaving Hot Lake, one of their excursions, because they went out there a lot, not naming names, but one of our cousins threw a rock back at the hotel, and then moments later, a rock came back and landed on their shoe.
Hey, listen, if you want to know names, just message us privately, and we may or may not tell you.
So Hot Lake references the geothermal spring, and temperatures can reach 200 degrees. And before the land was taken, it was sacred to the Nez Perce and other tribes, and they called the land Iakeshpa, which I think from what I read, I never saw a direct translation, but I think it just means like warm water, like oh gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like healing waters. And it was a meeting place to collaborate or resolve disputes. And they used it for healing long before settlers moved in and took the land. And so, as we know, the waters of Hot Lake are believed to be healing and even said to have miracle cures. And when Hot Lake first opened, people traveled great distances to experience this healing and the geothermal waters. And so Hot Lake was originally built in 1864. And with the well-known brick structure added in 1906 and operated as a luxury hotel and sanatorium, having about 100 rooms, and it could occupy about 1,000 people a day. So it kind of could operate as a small town.
Yeah, I think that's what I heard when we went that one time and we sort of perused that book that they have out there with all the pictures. That's what it said, is that it was almost like its own little community.
Yep. Yeah.
Stores,
Self-sustaining.
Yeah, stores, restaurants, places to eat. Like really neat.
Yeah.
That is super cool. Wait, so does that mean they were putting 10 people per room if there were 100 rooms and 1,000 people stayed there?
Oh,
Good question. Maybe I've gotten my numbers wrong. I forgot to jot that down. So maybe it was more like, or maybe there were like communal rooms, kind of hostel-like rooms.
I bet there
And then
were.
rooms that were more luxury for like their richer guests.
And maybe they meant, like, when talking about accommodating 1,000 people a day, that they just meant including visitors.
Could include visitors. Also, like, part of it was a hospital. And so there would be 10 beds in a room.
Okay, in a hospital,
Like
maybe,
for
yeah.
ill people who came there. And then it was also a luxury resort for rich people who just wanted to enjoy the springs. That's a great question, Em, and I'm not quite sure.
And at that time, did they have like camping areas too, like they ended up having later on? Like, because I wondered if that was included in that number too, if they had.
That's a great question. I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't see any references to camping. A lot of what I read was just in reference to like the luxuries of Hot Lake. So
Right.
I don't know, but camping could be. So it's also the first known commercial building in the world to utilize geothermal energy as its primary heat source.
Oh
And I thought that was
my
really cool.
Goodness, that is really cool, because now that's done a lot.
But not as
and-
much as you would think it should be done, because I actually saw an article in the last year or two about the city of Boise, Idaho, being like one of the few, like kind of like pioneers in, not pioneers, but like they're one of the few areas that's using that and doing it
way.
successfully.
Oh, I had no
Wow.
idea.
Well,
That's
I know
really cool.
Hot Lake, when I can't remember if I stayed there with you, where we got the tour. Was that with you?
Yeah.
When we stayed there and we got that little tour, they said that their biggest expense was actually cooling water. Like like getting
'cause it
cold
comes out
water
so hot.
to the rooms was actually one of their biggest expenses. Like, most people have to pay for a water heater, and they have to like have this whole system that actually cools the water down. And Brighton Bush, which I've talked to you both about, I don't think either of you have been there, but it's a hot springs over on the other half of Oregon. We're in the eastern half. It's over on the western half. They use the geothermal heating also to heat all of their buildings. They use like those old timey like radiators that they connect to pipes, and the radiators are just piped through hot water, and it heats so. It's the coziest heat. It is the coziest heat. I love
that.
it. It's like radiant, and it's geothermal radiant heat.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way about Hot Lake. It's just such a cozy spot. I do want to go to Brighton Bush one day. So this brings us to Dr. William T. Fye, born in 1873. Sorry, I didn't get an exact date. And he worked as a skilled physician at Hot Lake Sanatorium from 1901 to 1910. And then he returned in 1917 and worked there until his death in 1931. He purchased the property when he returned in 1973, making not only a resort for the rich, but also a hospital for the ill. And so this is when Hot Lake gets its the official name of Hot Lake Sanatorium. And it is said, quote, he
Not till the
was
70s?
1917.
Oh,
Sorry.
Okay.
Maybe I
Glad
misspoke.
I think that I just misheard. I'm glad I clarified. I'm like, wow.
And it had said, quote, he was as skilled as he was compassionate, a physician as flamboyant as he was determined to bring cutting-edge medical care to his patients at Hot Lake Sanatorium. And Walter Pierce, who was Oregon's governor from 1923 to 1927, is quoted as saying, 90% of the people came to Hot Lake because of his skills and magnetic personality. He was Hot Lake.
Wow.
And I have a photo of him right here. I should have put it on the sister chat, but he's pretty handsome.
Oh, Dr. William Thomas Fye. Mm-hmm. Oh, is that short for physician?
I don't think so. I think that's his last name.
Okay.
Can you see him?
I can see him, and that does look like a last name.
And I thought he was pretty handsome, so I'm like, yeah, magnetic and super good looking.
Yeah.
And Dr. Phi was confident in his skills and enjoyed displaying them. The surgery room, this is a quote from a book written by Richard Roth. Quote, "The surgery room was his theater. His adoring audience could look through the observation window and marvel at his surgical abilities."
They still have that. They have the surgery room and the observation room is
Yes.
still like intact.
Yeah.
And so a sanatorium
And it's just all tile.
were sanatoriums kind of like particular to tuberculosis patients? I think I read that
I thought I
somewhere.
read somewhere that actually tuberculosis was an illness that was wrong, that was not actually treated out here, but it's widely supposed that it was,
But it wasn't. Okay.
but it wasn't.
I just thought that was what sanatoriums in general were for, but I don't know.
I mean, I think it's a wide array of things. I could be wrong. If one of you want to look up sanatorium, that would be great. And I'll keep on talking about Dr. Phi.
Tell us more.
It is also said Dr. Phi, quote, seems to have eyes in the ends of his fingers. And so he was also a philanthropic man. He never turned anyone away, even if they weren't able to pay him, which I thought said a lot about his his dedication to medicine and wanting people to get better. Mm-hmm. And the Hot Lake Sanatorium was often referred to as the Mayo Clinic of the West. And the book that Richard Roth wrote, he found that there was no actual link between Dr. Phi and the Mayo brothers, but it is suspected that Dr. Phi liked the rumors and they brought positive publicity. And then I also read in several places that the Mayo brothers were frequent visitors of the resort.
Oh, really?
So,
Wow.
yeah, so I'm not sure maybe which one.
Okay, so what I found about sanatoriums is that they were historically a specialized hospital for chronic illness, like tuberculosis, but not necessarily just for tuberculosis.
Okay.
But they focused on rest, fresh air, nutrition, and they weren't really necessarily focused on mental illness, although I did have that association just growing up. I thought that sanatoriums were I thought it was the same as an insane asylum. So this is news to me. But so some facilities did later house mental patients, but they were sort of focused on like holistic healing.
Perfect. Sisters, thank you.
It was a place for convalescing,
Oh,
which means recovery
I love it.
or long-term illnesses.
We should probably convalesce at a resort ourselves one of these days.
Yes. We could convalesce right here at Hot Lake.
Yes. But then our families will call us.
No, we will tell them we're just going out of town. We won't tell them where and then turn off our location. This is a great idea.
Nothing could go wrong.
I'm glad you told me what convalescing means, because I literally thought that convalescing was synonymous for gathering, and I'm wrong. That was just the definition that I'd held in my head my whole life. So
Let's convalesce. Let's gather and convalesce. Like, let's get together and heal.
I love it. So on March 14th, 1931, Dr. William Phi passed away. And, quote, death was caused by bulbar paralysis, but he had been ill for several months of infectious multiple neuritis. Dr. Phi's death came as a distinct shock to the entire state, to which his loss is immeasurable, end of quote. And I read that he had fallen ill the fall before after a hunting trip to the, quote, Ontario country. So
Does that mean Ontario, Canada, or does that mean Ontario, Oregon?
Ontario, Oregon, just over here. And they called it Ontario country at that time.
Interesting. Like the countryside of Ontario, maybe.
So outside his profession, Dr. Phi was a recognized leader in many community activities, including Chamber of Commerce, Boy Scouts, and dairying. Dr. Phi was survived at the time by the following children: 2 sons, Dr. Mark Phi and William Scott Phi, and 3 daughters, Marcia, Marion, and Margaret. He also leaves 3 sisters and other relatives. Dr. Phi was buried at Union County Cemetery, and we could go see his grave.
Oh, we could. We should. I love going to
Hundreds.
cemeteries.
Yes, me too. They're so beautiful. Hundreds attended his funeral, and the church was beyond capacity during the service. And the procession for the funeral was said to be 4 miles long.
Oh my goodness.
So
I
he
bet
was
it went
well
from
loved.
Hot Lake to Union, which would be like what? Isn't it about 4 or 5 miles from Hot Lake to Union? Probably.
But like long of like people in it.
Right. So I'm just imagining that they maybe like went from
I see what
from
you're
Hot
saying.
Lake to Union, and
Yeah.
it just was like that long, slow procession.
I think so.
If it took that.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. And so a few years later, in 1934, a fire burned down over half the hotel. And so this is the famous Hot Lake fire. Everyone evacuated safely, patients and all, but the building was badly damaged, and the remaining building was used for various purposes, including a retirement home and a nurses' training school during World War II. It is reported that a nurse fell into the scalding water of the lake and she died from her injuries. And
It's
even
so sad.
yes, even to this day, some people report hearing the screams of a woman near the lake, especially at night. And even with its great reputation, Hot Lake did have many deaths, people arriving sick and not getting better, possible experiments on patients. But those were more like where I read about like the evil experiments, because we all like heard about that evil doctor, right, with doing the evil experiments.
Yeah.
Those were like, I found those in like opinion pieces.
Or like urban legend. Things,
Exactly.
like-
More than like historical articles and everything.
Yeah.
So I just am a little bit like fiction, what's nonfiction. And so also Victorian medicine was fairly gruesome at the time. Like it was all still very experimental. And so when they're talking about experimental procedures, like, is it just learning medicine or
Maybe because everything was new at the time. I mean, especially like when, at the time where they had the operating theaters and doctors were almost entertainment, like performing surgeries for entertainment. They were trying a lot of new things like lobotomies, like things that we don't even
lobotomies.
do now. But at the time they thought like, we're helping people. They're so much more peaceful after we stick a screw in their brain and like
Right.
wiggle their brains all around. They're just so nice.
3D episode lobotomies?
Or even just like crazy medical procedures,
Yes.
crazy medical
Victorian medicine.
practices. Okay, I'll add it.
And one of the cures purported at Hot Lake was to just drink the lake water. So intermittent operations included being not operations as in surgeries, but operations as in business. Included being a bed and breakfast, and the Roth family, such as Richard Roth, who wrote one of the books that I am referencing, ran the hotel from 1942 to 1952 as a resort hotel and spa. And then they got out of the business once the freeway went through Ladd Canyon instead of passing the hotel, making business take a huge dive. And so from there, they pivoted to turning it into an assisted living facility for the elderly.
Yeah, that freeway change, because it used to go through, like you would like drive the back way through Union and like Medical Springs, or maybe
Which
you'd
is
bypass
a really
Medical
pretty
Springs.
drive if you
Yeah, it's
go
gorgeous.
through Union to
Well,
Baker.
it's like Piles Canyon, right?
I think
Yeah,
so.
and then you end up going like through North Powder. Yeah, because I think Union also took a huge hit. Which it took a hit when the railroad went through La Grande instead of Union, and then it took another hit when they changed the freeway.
Yeah, well, like when they built this area, I think Union was supposed to be the epicenter, but instead,
It was the county seat.
It's so similar to that tragic story that I watched time and time again about Radiator Springs, because I had a child that watched the Lightning McQueen series on repeat.
yeah,
Oh man.
Ghost Town. It's a sad, sad story. So, for a period of time in the 50s, a black bear was kept in a cage on the front lawn. And at some point, it escaped, and a minister staying at the facility found the bear in the back of the main building. Taking a piece of corn, he lured the bear back to its cage, and this bear was later shot and replaced with a raccoon.
Oh,
That raccoon never escaped.
Poor bear.
I know.
They're like, we're going to keep you in a cage, and then when we're done, shoot you. Not nice.
I know. Richard Roth, who was a baby when his family moved there, said that during the 32 years his family ran the place, they never took an extended family vacation. The most they would do was an overnight to Anthony Lakes.
Wow.
Roth said it was a fantastic place to grow up. And like with all of the old hospital equipment, and he found native arrowheads on the property like constantly.
So they lived on the premises? Oh, wow. That's cool.
And Hot Lake has changed hands more than a few times, finally being abandoned in 1991. Much to the benefit of unruly teens and young people across Union County. My cousins and I being some of them. Some of the haunted lore that I remember from growing up was, I like kind of already mentioned this, the crazy doctor that worked there, and then you could find human bones on the hill behind the building because that's where he would drag his victims.
Wow. I never heard that one.
You never heard that one?
No.
I didn't hear that either.
But I never broke in.
Oh, I did. Just
I know.
regaled with tales. And there was a bathroom that never gathered dust.
Oh.
Give me that bathroom, please. If you put the wheelchairs away on the second floor and then went up to the third floor, and then by the time you came back down to the second floor, all the wheelchairs would be scattered again. Doors slamming, a rogue shadow figure that follows you. Is it human? I don't know.
No, it's not. It's a shadow figure.
And so there are many rumors about Hot Lake, one of which that I kind of found funny, a secret basement under the old bathhouse right by the lake, and that there are dead bodies in it.
How could that be?
Yeah.
I just will say that I don't think that basements can go under lakes very easily.
No. Well, it's by the lake.
And that was from an interview on the Scariest Places on Earth episode that I watched. And just these two ladies, straight faces, just like, yeah, there's a basement and there's dead bodies in it under the bathhouse.
Wow. I have still never watched that, which is funny because it's like starring a local legend, Jeff Clark and his family, which I guess
Which I watched. And Jeff Clark, great hair. Love your choker necklace.
He's a puka shell necklace. I heard that he wore
It wasn't quite a puka shell necklace, but it was definitely like a
choker.
little bit of a choker necklace.
But he told me, so it was like their family, and they were posing as possibly buying the place. Like, oh, it'd make a great bed and breakfast. But the truth is, it was just like for the show. So anytime you watch shows like that, I wonder how much of it is just like pretend. But
Like a setup, yeah.
So much.
yeah, really cool though.
So often I believe it is a setup, but hey, entertainment.
I did
and I loved
hear,
it.
this is slightly on topic and slightly off topic, but I did hear when I was talking to my friend Margaret, who's married to the LeGrand Parks director. I asked her, when I was doing my Candy Cane Park murder research, I was like, hey, moving here, like, what did you hear about it? And she's like, don't talk to me. Talk to Stu. Her husband is the Parks and Rec director. And they have been contacted by Ghost Adventures to come and do an episode on Candy Cane Park. And then Stu called them back and was like, hey, let me know if you want to do this. I can kind of give you the lowdown. And then they just
Zach
did not contact him again.
Zach Baggins.
But it's possible that I think it was Ghost Adventures might
cool.
be coming back to LeGrand and doing Candy Cane Park.
That would be exciting.
I just wonder if they didn't come because the merry-go-round is what was supposed to be haunted and it's gone. Maybe. I don't know.
No, it's a death trap.
Yes.
Well, Brian Walker, a former caretaker, said that he would approach Hot Lake from the west side and the doors would open before he would even get to them and then slam shut behind him as he walked in the building.
Oh, gentlemanly ghosts welcoming him in.
And from a local couple, they said that a caretaker took his own life in a very strange way. He stabbed himself in the head with a screwdriver 3 to 4 times, then cut his own throat. Now, I did not find any records of such a death. There's also talk of a gardener that took his own life and is still seen on the grounds, and I didn't find records of that either.
I have heard about the gardener.
In several spots, but I never found like this death happened here records. And so I
might
wonder,
just be urban legend at this point. Yeah.
That's kind of my thought. But if anybody out there has a link to the records, please email us at thespookydarlings@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. And so, as Nettie said, a friend of ours, Jeff Clark, was on the show Scariest Places on Earth. And during the show, there was a moment where his mom felt like she was pushed to the ground.
Oh my goodness.
And we're sure she didn't trip and then just conveniently tried to blame a ghost.
Brenda would
On the
never.
show, yes, on the show, she did say several times, I just suddenly felt like I was pushed to the ground. I was pushed. So then moving on from the show, which was such a fun watch. If anyone out there wants the link, I'm happy to, if you email us at the Spooky Darlings, we will email it to you. And it's the last segment, the last 10 minutes of the segment. And it was so fun. And so my husband remembers going out there with friends, and he's a very skeptical man. Even just anything paranormal, my crystals, he lets me have my hobbies and everything. But he's very was it a ghost? So my husband remembers going out there with friends, and he said it was creepy, and there was blood smeared everywhere, up and down the halls. And then he remembers going into the operating room, which was super creepy, and he said he got the vibe that bad things went down in there. So that is huge coming from my husband.
Was it paint or was it actual?
He said blood. He knows what blood looks like.
I need to know more.
I do wonder if it was paint, though, if it was red.
That's exactly what I'm wondering. Was
blood
it
turns
red?
brown.
Yes, exactly.
And do you guys remember? Oh, no, you don't remember. In the operating room, when you go up there, around the drain, which was for draining blood, it was all grimy around it. I don't know. I always found that spooky, but maybe it's not spooky because the windows were shattered out at one point and rain and grime could just gather in there.
No, that is spooky. But it's true. Other things would have drained, if the windows were, water would have gotten in and the elements. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Do you remember in my parking garage in Malaysia, it looked like there was that wall by where I parked my car that had those. It had spikes driven into the cement wall, but the way the rust had dripped down the wall, it looked like at head height blood dripping down. And I just always looked at it and I was like, that looks like a firing squad did their business there. Do you remember this?
Oh my
Kind
gosh,
of vaguely.
yeah.
Yes.
But I'm you look closer and it's obviously rust and stuff. But anyway, my point being elements and time can make stuff look weird and creepy.
More than one thing is blood colored.
Yes.
Right.
So our friend Nellie, she and her family lived there for a short time, and she sent me this story. Her mother said that the wind out there would be so strong that the building would literally sway back and forth. And it was so loud you weren't sure if a train was driving by or not. And one night the swaying was so bad that plaster fell over the crib of her 2-year-old brother, but not on her brother. It was around the crib. And she said that her mother had a feeling of protection that night.
Oh, that's sweet. Oh, I love that.
Another time, her mother and father were walking with her little brother, and a gust of wind so strong came up, and her mother said that it was pulling the brother towards the lake, and if they hadn't had a good hold on him, he would have landed in the lake.
In the hot lake?
In the scalding hot lake.
Yikes. That is scary.
That is so freaky.
So later, when Nellie was in college and a bunch of friends wandering around the spooky, dilapidated building, all of a sudden, all of the doors started slamming shut at the same time. Everyone screams and bolts from the building. She feels very lucky that no one got injured because of the holes in the floor that we have mentioned earlier.
Uh-huh.
And she suspects that some wind picked up, and that's what caused the door to slam all at once.
No, Nellie, it was ghosts, Nellie.
Nellie, I'm not a meteorologist, but that seems a little wild.
Right. Nellie, the most likely explanation is usually the right one, and the most likely explanation is it's haunted.
Ghosts.
Ghosts.
Ghosts. And so, Nellie, thank you for sharing your stories. And then I have A friend of a friend who wants to stay anonymous recently stayed out there with their spouse. He woke up in the middle of the night to see his wife pacing back and forth. He calls out to her, and from next to him, she says, "What?" And he looks back to where the figure was, and it was gone.
Oh my gosh, that is so scary.
That is freaky.
Oh, that is so scary.
I know. What would you do in that situation?
Well, I did have that similar situation, not at Hot Lake, but where I saw Brent standing at the foot of the bed.
Yes.
And then I was like, Brent? And then he's like, yes. And then I was like, oh my gosh, there's someone in our house. And then,
and he threw a pillow at it.
Right at it. Yes. And then by the time I turned the light on, whatever it was gone. But we both had like that creepy feeling that something had been in our house. Whatever it was. It looked like Brent standing at the foot of the bed. It was not. He was asleep.
Spooky.
That is creepy.
It was. It was so scary.
So, other paranormal activity is apparitions in hallways, shadow figures, disembodied voices, screams at night, specifically from the old surgery room and the lake.
Oh.
Footsteps when no one is there. So, what would you guys do if you heard any of these things? Or saw any of these things?
Well,
You mean if I'm staying there or if I'm, I might get real scared.
yeah, I'd get scared. I'd wake whichever one of you I was staying with up. I'd be like, hey, wake up. I just saw
I wouldn't let either of you sleep.
a ghost. Yeah. I would maybe wander down to the front desk and be like, do you want to know what I just saw? I need to tell someone.
You're really polite. I'd be like, Emily and Nettie, get up immediately.
Do you have a ghost log I can write in real quick? Because I'm freaked out.
Look at this EMF reader. It's going nuts.
I need to know if other people experience this.
It's funny because my instinct anytime I'm really scared is to be under the covers and have at least a sheet over the top of me. And I think it's because the scariest ghost story in my formative years was the China doll, where like she couldn't get you or wouldn't get you if you had blankets on.
Yeah.
Or was that just added in the version of the story that was told to me? So I would be like frightened into keeping blankets on?
I think maybe it was added in the version told to you, but not necessarily to frighten you to keep blankets on, but to make you feel better that don't worry, you'll be safe.
Why don't you tell me more? Because I think you were the one who told me the version that I heard at that age.
Maybe you would feel safe as long as you had blankets on. Like, don't worry, as long as you have blankets on, you're fine. I don't think whatever older sister would have told you
can't
that.
penetrate blankets.
And that was literally what I was told, though, that she couldn't get you if you had blankets on. And like, you know, you wouldn't want to get out of the blankets. I think it was like meant to scare me into staying in bed too. So if you got out of the blankets, she could get you real quick.
No.
Oh, and then you just fell asleep all scared.
Yeah, what a dream.
What a dream. Maybe whoever told you that ghost story just liked telling ghost stories, and they were like, oh shit, I scared her now. And now she's not sleeping. So I'll tell her she'll be protected as long as she's under the covers.
Crap, she's so mature. I keep forgetting she's only 3.
Why? I was only like 7 or 8, to be fair.
And there are reports of specific spirits, which are nurses still doing rounds, patients soaking in tubs. You think you see someone, and suddenly they've disappeared.
Oh, yikes.
And spookiest of all, children's laughter. So, where will you most likely experience these things?
3rd floor?
Old bath areas, surgical wing, which is on the
3rd
third
floor.
floor, lake-facing windows, and classically, the basement.
I like those lake
But not the basement
windows.
under the bathhouse, because that doesn't exist.
Right.
Where is even the bathhouse?
It's that old structure, like right on the lake. It's kind of like stone.
That's called the bathhouse? Mm-hmm. And okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so I myself have stayed there. And the last time I stayed there, I think I brought something home with me that stayed for about a week. And no, I'm not talking about my sister. It was just kind of a spooky, it's tough to describe. I would be like dreaming about this same person every night. White night, kind of the classic white nightgown, wet black hair.
Oh, yikes.
And I just had to tell it over and over again, like, you're not allowed to stay here. You got to go back to the hotel. Like,
I remember when you told me
this is not your home.
you thought you brought something home. I remember.
Yeah. So it took me about a week to like quit having that residual like energy and like those dreams to stop happening.
Did you have to like be like, okay, come on, hop in the car. We're going back, and like drop her off and be like, get out now.
Luckily, I did not have to drive them back home.
She found her way.
So, listeners, make sure when you're leaving a place with a lot of energy, make sure to tell anything that could be following you that it has to stay.
Yeah. Unless you want to take it home. Maybe you want a pet ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is Hot Lake, which is now the lodge at Hot Lake.
Wow. Good job.
Thank you.
I love the way they've redone it. That Hot Lake, I mean, I haven't stayed, but I remember going at your bachelorette party, Haley, and like wandering the halls and looking at the rooms. And they've just done such a great job preserving the old charm, making it safe and new, but keeping it looking like it did in the classic style.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth a visit if, you know, if people are looking for a cool classic
Boutique.
haunted place, like historical.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Historical place.
It really is
Yeah.
beautiful. The rooms are comfortable. I've enjoyed it every time I've stayed out there. I love the feeling, and I want to keep staying out there in hopes that I will see a ghost myself.
Rumor has it McMinimans offered to buy it and the owners said no.
Oh,
So-
really? There's that rumor?
Really?
Like the current owners? Mm-hmm. Oh, I wondered if they had jumped in and tried to buy it beforehand. That would have been cool to have it be a McMinimans.
Yeah, but I think they were like, no, we don't want to let this be part of a chain. I think they want to have the McMinimans. I think it's probably like modeled after a McMinimans.
Yeah, it does. It feels a lot like a McMinimans, although they do not embrace the haunted aspect.
No, which I wish that they would get a ghost log.
I wish they would. I wish they'd embrace the haunted aspect, because when you go in and you ask, they're kind of like, oh no, this place isn't haunted. It's really fine. And then if you kind of can like talk to someone who works there, they're like, well, we're really not supposed to encourage the haunted lore, but like, I'll tell you my stories if you want to know. And I like have talked to people that have just had like mildly spooky things.
Yeah.
But when at the RV resort, which is just like a mile or half a mile down the road, so like still on the hot springs, it's still, it has this beautiful hot springs that's like been patched in. When we stayed out there with our friend Margaret, she asked like Margaret will talk to anyone. I love it. It's so great because I'm always worried. I'm like, afraid to get people's stories. But Margaret like asked one of the ladies that worked there, and that lady had so many stories of her own and from other people that stayed there about like multiple people have seen a woman dressed in like old-timey clothing carrying a parasol that will like walk over by the hot springs and sit down. But it's interesting because that particular structure isn't old. You know what I mean? It's like it's as old as the RV, but it's like people have seen this sort of like,
Well, but the old structure extended out
Not that
way.
far, though.
It didn't extend that far?
no, because that's
okay.
like a good half mile down the road.
Oh, okay.
It extended out, like, so when you're out at Hot Lake and you're looking where like if you're facing the hotel, it extended out to the right, and then you'll see a house. It extended about as far as the house.
Okay.
Is where it's at. And then the like Hot Springs RV is down, I would say half a mile or a mile-ish
Nice.
Well,
down
that's
the
the
road.
structures, but the property still included all of that area. It just makes you wonder what was there, if that's something that apparition is like
Well,
drawn to.
I don't know. I don't know if the property included all that area, because I mean, it might have, but like currently it's like the people own Hot Lake and they own the Hot Lake Resort, but there's a chunk of property in the middle that they don't own.
They there's like 40 acres, I think, with the Hot Lake property right now. I would imagine back in the day they owned a lot more of the land,
Yeah, maybe.
but I don't know.
That sounds like something somebody that wants to go look at property records can find out. But for us, it's probably just not our business.
It's just
Yeah.
going to be something we can suppose
None of
about.
our business.
Like, what do you suppose? And then close by to the Hot Lake Springs, and I have yet to go. I've like gone and looked for it a couple times, but there's like a natural hot springs. I think it's on someone's private land, But my friends all went in high school and college. And I like a couple times we were going to go and then like drove past the exit and then got, decided not to go. But it's like some hole in the ground. I think that there's like a metal grate on it or something where you can go and sit. And
Which I've heard snakes like to.
I've heard that snakes are in there, but it's like supposedly warm and lovely other than the snakes.
Yeah, we tried to go find it in high school too, and we did not.
I remember driving by it and like seeing the steam rise off the like at the hot lake property, like the big like open pools. And I remember at one point, and Mom was always like telling us very graphic things about different places, but I remember her telling us that you would, if you hopped in there, you'd boil yourself to death immediately. And I just had that like terrifying like imagery in my mind every time we drove by. I was always like, don't get in it.
You're
Don't
gonna
do
boil
it.
yourself. You're gonna boil.
Don't do it. Yeah.
You're going to get
Really-
cooked.
Really cool property and really beautiful area.
Yeah, it's so exciting what they're doing with it out there.
Yes, that's awesome.
At my bachelorette party, Alexis, she did not sleep all night. She kept on just looking for a ghost to walk in our room.
Funny. Like,
And
'cause
then-
she was scared?
And then she was like clutching onto Lee, and Lee was like, "Gotta let me go. I've gotta get some sleep."
This is so great. Poor
It was
Lex.
so fun.
Poor Lex, yeah. That was a gorgeous suite that we...
Oh yes, and thank
gotcha.
you. You sisters did such a good job with my bachelorette party.
Oh, you are welcome. Yeah, it's lovely though. I like that. I like Hot Lake. It is very peaceful out there. I definitely get a spooky vibe. And when I'm out there with people that are sensitive to it, like they're like, oh no, this place is full of ghosts. Like there's so much happening here. But I would say I've not been scared when I'm out there or felt like clutched with terror. I've mostly just felt like that kind of cozy spooky, which is one of my favorite feelings.
Favorite kind of spooky is cozy spooky.
For sure.
I agree. It's just so lovely.
Right. Well, Haley, good job on this episode.
Thank you. I hope everybody enjoys it.
Yes, if you have any experiences,
Oh, yes.
listeners, for Hot Lake Hotel, please write in. Let us
'Cause
know.
I scoured Reddit for more scary stories of like people telling their scary stories. I could not find a thing.
It's so funny because I know there are so many, and I can't remember the details, but like I know the people I went to high school with,
Yes.
like had scary stories, and people I went to college with had scary stories about it. So there's a ton.
Yes. Please write in with your scary Hot Lake stories.
I was always too chicken to go break in, but I know that like lots of kids went out there and said they saw scary stuff. And then a couple kids like said that they would like go out ahead of another group and like wait and try to like create the scary things for the second group that didn't know they were already out there. I mean, I don't know if that was really happening. That sounds kind of like, a little complex or sophisticated for kids that age. But yeah,
No,
it definitely lives in a special place in our hearts because that was such a neat.
I didn't go because I was scared too, but I wasn't scared like of ghosts. I was scared of law enforcement. I was just like, we're
yeah.
going to get caught and we're going to get in so much trouble.
Oh yeah, I was scared of getting in trouble with the law, and I was also scared of because I heard that police, and listen, I don't know if this is just what adults told us to scare us from going, because they were like, oh yeah, police will camp out nearby with their lights off so you can't see them, watching for kids to go in. Like that's what I was told. But also I was so scared of stepping in the wrong place and falling through the floor because there were holes in the floor that something had to have fallen through. I mean, I don't know if it was a person, but like, it just freaked me out that I was going to break a leg.
Yes.
That's a real fear. Should we do something cheerful, or is this cheerful enough?
I feel like Hot Lake is a pretty cheerful. I mean, I don't think it was a morbid,
ghosts.
It was a cozy spooky.
Yeah,
All
there's
right.
nothing that we need to like, cleanse our palates from. But if anybody has something cheerful, I'd love to hear it.
Well, the mama cat that lives in my neighborhood that has a litter of kittens, and this is a feral cat. I want to say it doesn't belong to me, nor could I catch it if I tried. I have tried, but she has a litter of kittens in the bushes between mine and my neighbor's yard every spring. Oh, see her skulking about. She's She needs to be caught and spayed. No, sorry. I'm going to make all the cat people mad.
Menace.
I see her skulking about, but then I've seen like a new bigger cat that's kind of like taken over my yard area where the mama cat used to be. So I wonder if she's sort of moved on down.
Yeah, I
But
wonder. I know. I think it's unfair when you have such feral cats. It's like what cute little mouses and rats would be in your yard if those cats weren't hogging all the space.
Yeah, no.
There is, you can get funding for humane spaying, and they will like fund you if you catch them and take them to the vet, and then they'll clip the cat's ear to signal that it's spayed, but you can re-release it and it can stay feral. It just won't be
We
either
have done that as
impregnating or getting impregnated.
we have done that as a neighborhood. Like someone organized it and they caught like 8
Nice.
and took them out. But then someone's like, great, glad we did that. Just saw 2 new litters of kittens in the bushes. So don't know how well it's like if it's going to do any good. So I think, but we did it like, I think they got some funding, but they were also asking for contributions from the neighborhood. Like we donated like $200 to it or something. And then we're like, well, maybe we made a tiny dent, but
I mean, sometimes it's just the little things, and you can celebrate that.
Yeah, it's raining cats.
yes. Oh yeah. No, I think that is really cool. I just was explaining my neighborhood. I do think that that's a really cool thing that the Humane Society will do that. And you can like find a way to take care of the cat without hurting it and letting it live its life. And that is cool, but it is cool. And we tried it in my neighborhood, and I don't know, maybe we just need to try harder.
It didn't take.
It didn't take.
Well, you want to take us out?
Sure. All right. Thank you for listening. Once again, we are the Spooky Darlings. And if you have any interesting stories or questions or comments about our episode or about anything, you can email us at thespookydarlings@gmail.com. And we just really appreciate your ears and your time. And if you would take a moment and leave us a review, a written review, and a 5-star rating, it would make us so very happy. And it's the best way to help other spooky souls find our podcast. All right. Thanks for listening. Goodbye. Bye.
5 stars.
And spookiest of all, children's laughter.
Like this. Go, Emily. You're going to demonstrate
Wait.
children's laughter.
Oh, I can't do it on command. I can only do it. I can only do it when I'm a child. And
And laughing.
Funny.
In the past. Haley,
That's a monkey.
no, that was
It's
a
a
child.
monkey child.
Yikes. Children's laughter. That one's got to be super, super scary.
That's still monkey.
It's still monkey.
I think it gets monkey when you do the hoo hoo hee hee, like the. It sounds monkey-ish.
Now that was child because you didn't go to hoo hoo hee hee. You just stayed on ha ha. No monkey.
This is great feedback that I'm getting.
We can cut all of this out.
I
might.
hope we leave it in.
We'll have to see.
Before we disappear into the shadows, don't forget, we're still sending out vinyl stickers. Leave us a rating and review and email us proof to thespookydarlings@gmail.com, along with your mailing address, and we'll send you some spooky snail mail while supplies last. And if your heart is still mourning that tote bag, may we gently tempt your way toward our merch store at thespookydarlings.printful.me. Treat yourself. You deserve it. Thanks for listening. And as always, stay spooky.